Alright guys, welcome back to the garden. Just a quick one today, just going to be having a look at a few different palm trees, and I suppose the question of whether you should buy big, buy small, buy medium, and just kind of go over the benefits of sort of each size of palm tree that you might be looking at. So here, just in the foreground here, we've got a large trachycarpus fortunie. Now this one was purchased as this size, so this has not grown out to this size. Now, going into the idea of why you would purchase different size trees, for myself and the position I wanted this tree in, it was going right on the edge of this sort of pond that we're building here, but I needed basically the pathway through here to be able to walk under this tree, as opposed to a small tree, which would eventually come out over the path and create quite a difficulty in getting through this path here. Just panning over from that, here we've got the chamerops. Now this is a very old clump and has actually grown to this size from a very small tree. This was here before I moved into the property, but you can see now that I've cleaned it up, we've got quite nice good sized trunks here. And this is a triple trunk one here. Now in this position, again, as a small plant, it may have slowly gotten in the way, but as it has grown sort of, quite sort of clump forming, again, you can see here we can still get through the path, so I'm absolutely happy with that there. One thing to note, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, certainly drop us a subscribe and a like. Helps the channel to grow, and certainly a lot more coming up that you may be interested in. Just following around from here, guys, another one of the larger ones that we purchased was, again, this one here. Now, with this one, again, same story as the other one. You can just see here that we needed the pathway through here and through here, so we did need the height initially really to kind of get this going. Now most of the other palms that I have planted on the property are much smaller, sort of this sort of size, so you're kind of 1 foot trunk, roughly kind of maybe 5 foot high to the top of the leaves. Now the benefit of buying small trees as opposed to large ones is they will settle in and grow a lot better than your larger ones. The larger ones typically would have been sort of field grown and then dug up, leaving a lot less of a root ball and giving the plant a bit of a struggle kind of getting in and growing. They usually say with palms it's kind of first year sleep, second year creep, third year leap, so meaning that typically it's going to take a couple of years to really settle in before it really gets going. Now with the smaller ones here, you will find that these typically would be grown in the pot, so from seed, which means they've got a very healthy root system already on it. The ones that I've planted, I have noticed they have been continuously putting out new leaves since going into the ground, and these should really kind of kick off and grow a lot larger, a lot quicker, but again, you're sacrificing the height initially, so if you want that kind of impact or wow factor, the larger trees may be your better option. Or again, if you're limited for space and you need to kind of be able to get around the tree and can't really wait for it to grow fully, again, it might be a better option to go for the larger ones. Let's just have a quick look here as we pan around. Another one of the ones that we've got, even smaller than that, is just coming around here. This is your trachycarpus fortunie princeps hybrid. Just under the leaves, you can maybe see we've got a little bit of white going on already, but again, very small plant. Now I find that this should hopefully really take off once it gets settled in and start growing very quickly. Just as we come around here, guys, one other one to note is certainly the different types of palms that you can get. Now, the fortunie in the UK climate is probably going to be one of your hardiest, alongside of the chamerops. Here we have washintonia, robusta. Now, I have not had great luck with these, and I seem to find that they defoliate every year or completely die off. This one has just made a comeback, and even a full season's worth of growth. You can see we've got two kind of quarter leaves and a little one pushing out. So again, I've not had massive luck with these, but with that said, again, it does very much depend on your microclimate in your garden, the severity of the winter, things like this, to whether these will get through quite well. Alright guys, so following on from that, just have a quick look at some of the other palms we grow. We've got approximately 30 palm trees growing in the garden at the moment. A lot of this is, again, just to add an eventual canopy over the garden. So I've planted approximately, I think, 10 of these small ones, a few of the other small ones, as well as a couple of the larger ones. Now, just taking a walk around here, you can see one of the other types that we grow. This is the butia odorata, pindo palm or jelly palm. Again, bought this at a much larger size. These are quite slow growing, and I wanted the impact as well, you know, straight from the get-go. So in this instance, again, guys, I really found that the size was what I wanted on this. And this is in a essentially a raised gravel bed. I've put around 2 tons of gravel over the bed in here, again, just giving it that extra bit of drainage here. And lastly, just taking a look at one of the other palms that we are growing, and again, I just don't seem to have luck on these. This is a Phoenix cannariensis. Now, it died completely, or what I thought happened last year has died completely, but you can see from the actual root here, it has pushed out a couple new leaves. I've lost a few of these over the years, and again, they just, in my climate, in my garden, which is quite exposed still until I get the canopy up, I just don't think I'm going to have much luck with these. I may perhaps try one more in the raised bed, just to give it that ample drainage, but again, when these do get to eventual size, they do size up very large. So I just don't know if I've got the space for it, hoping the butia is going to kind of do essentially what the Phoenix would have done over the years. Now the butia, not completely hardy in the UK. You do need, you know, again, if it get really bad winters, you could have issues with this one. You're probably better off, if you like the feather palm look, going for something that's slightly more hardy, similar to like your Areospatha or something like that. Would be a good choice generally for hardiness in the UK. With that said, guys, the other palm that we do grow, which is a small trachycarpus wagnerianus, princeps cross, not really done much with it this year. It's only put out sort of 1 leaf in the whole growing season, first year in, so not expecting much for a couple of years off that. And just to address the idea of palms in pots or in the ground, I would highly suggest, if you can, get them in the ground straight away. They do generally grow a lot better in the ground, and once they get their roots in and settle in, you know, it really stops them having issues of drought or anything like that. When you find palms in pots, the other thing to think about as well, guys, is in the winter, you know, if it can dry out, and it can also freeze the pot a lot quicker than if it's in the ground, so it does give it a bit more protection being in the ground as well for the palm itself. Of course, you may have your less hardy palms that you may bring in and outside from a greenhouse or things like that, which of course in that instance you wouldn't want to get it in the ground, as you'd be disturbing the roots every time you move it for the end of the season. So in some ways it does depend on the type of palm you're growing. If it is hardy, ground hardy, I would say get it in the ground and let it get growing, and the palm will be a lot happier for it. Right, guys, so of course, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and share, and we hope to catch you on the next one.